As most of you are probably already aware, unless you have been living under a rock, the very popular series One Piece has gotten itself a live-action series as of last year. And while it has gotten this live-action series, it is getting a Season 2. Now, there was an announcement made for the 2 live-action versions of who we're going to be playing, Mr. Zero and Miss All Sunday, aka Crocodile, and Nico Robin, Joe Magalo, and Lera Abova. Now, there were people that were looking forward to this. Some people saying, these are perfect casting. Another person saying, I haven't said anything about this yet, but I can just say how perfect the casting is for the show. The more it comes out, the more excited I get. Now, while some like this casting choice, there are some lunatics out there that are losing their minds. And no, it's not actually over the Yamato discourse when they try to claim Yamato is trans, when in reality, every sane person knows that Oda has confirmed that Yamato is in fact canonically a woman. This leads us to Lera Abova. Now, Lera Abova herself is a Russian actress and model. Now, Abova was born on November 4th, 1992, and grew up in the village of Slavgorod in Siberia. According to her, the village is so small, they don't have it on the map, and when she was 13, she moved to Germany. Now, of course, when you think about this, you wouldn't think much of it other than, oh, well, this is pretty cool information. Well, of course, leave it to the Twitter freak brigade to somehow find a way to have a meltdown over a completely innocent person.
Oh shit, here we go again.
The actress playing Robin is gorgeous, honestly, but what was the point of asking for a Latina if y'all are going to go with a white woman? So much for what I was saying before about Robin being an opportunity for minority rep. I don't give a fuck anymore, especially when it was speculated they put Slavic for a casting call. Where's her melanin Netflix? Maybe it's just me, but I would have loved to see a bit more melanin in the castings.
Uh-oh, retard alert! Retard alert, class!
Just keep in mind, these are the people that want you to think that they're the quote-unquote normal people. When in reality, normal people don't think this way. They don't worry about skin color. They just worry about the performance and hoping that the actor or actress is good. But leave it to the mentally deranged to have an issue with somebody's skin color being too light complected. There's a word for people like that. Bigots. Now, if you thought the ride on Stupid Express was over with, oh no, this is just the beginning, because this gets even dumber. Some people had an issue with Netflix over the casting choice, saying, I don't want to see Russian actors in new Netflix shows and pay money for it. I didn't say anything on Maine because I've been attacked by Russians before, but fuck it, y'all started attacking Ukrainians now. As long as Russia is committing a genocide in Ukraine, neutrality does not exist. Neutrality on the face of genocide is siding with the one committing it.
Wrong, 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 wrong. Wrong, 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 wrong.
It's really dumb to assume that, because there are some people who are not comfortable with these types of topics, and so they stay out of the conversation. It doesn't mean they support anything bad, doesn't mean they support war or genocide, but leave it to the mentally deranged to immediately assume things and think that they know the truth when they don't. You know, a jump to conclusions moment. Some people are so brain dead that they can't separate fiction from reality and try to say that Nico Robin herself would stand against us because it would label her as a terrorist. Yeah. This is how delusional people are. May I fucking remind you, incredibly disgusting genocide support is nothing new from Netflix. You gotta be fucking kidding me. A Russian woman? What the fuck is wrong with Netflix? You ain't gonna tell me she was the only actress in the fucking world for this role.
What are you?
An idiot sandwich.
Now this brings us up into the topic, which is an interview with Oda. The question, nice to meet you, Mr. Oda. I have a question. If One Piece took place in the real world, where would each of the Straw Hats come from? Oda responded, I didn't really put too much thought into this, but this would fit their images, and Russia is where Robin would be from. And as the series tries to tell its audience that it's never a crime just to exist. That's Oda's message to people, which is true. No matter where you come from, that's not a crime. But they want to pretend like Lera Abova being Russian is a sin. Russia attacks Ukraine and shells it with missiles every day, destroys entire cities, maims, tortures, and does terrible things to people in the occupied territories. And after that, Netflix takes a Russian actress into the project. No empathy, only profit, right, Netflix? Any sane person realizes that you cannot blame everyone just because some people that may have been born in a certain country did something bad, it doesn't mean everybody from that country did something bad. You know, if you want to have an issue with anyone, you should have an issue with the people in power, not the ones that are innocent that have nothing to do with any of this at all.
Miss All Genocide can go fuck herself.
There were even some that were trying to come in here with the hashtag boycott Netflix over this whole situation, some stating, wow, Netflix is supporting genocide. Robin is a survivor of genocide, and you hired this Russian to play her while Russia's committing genocide in Ukraine? Cancel your Netflix subscriptions.
Lera Abova supports the genocidal imperial war on my country by upholding the fascist pro-Putin status quo. She is a propaganda tool who is supposed to portray a genocide survivor in One Piece. Keeps paying Zionists and fascists. Cancel your subscription.
That's a nice argument, Senator. Why don't you back it up with a source?
My source is that I made it the fuck up.
These people make themselves look like delusional jackasses when they have no proof to any of their claims. They're just saying stuff. And, you know, when you think about the way Lera Abova is being treated, look at Nico Robin. You know, it's very similar to how she was treated. It's almost like Lera Abova is the real-life Nico Robin.
Ironic.
One person even responded to this tweet asking, can you tell me exactly how she is supporting the war? One person responded to them saying, you won't get an answer. And guess what? Even now, there still hasn't been an answer. Kind of goes to prove the point. These troglodytes are just making claims and jumping to conclusions about things they don't even know about. One person came in stating, casting a Russian actress as Nico Robin in their popular show One Piece, whose family was killed by terror, feels particularly inappropriate given Russia's current role as a terrorist state. There's still time to fix this, Netflix. Upon further investigation, this person claims to be a member of the Parliament of Ukraine, and he didn't stop at this one simple tweet.
Russians are killing thousands literally for existing, not Putin personally or government. Ordinary Russians. They kill actors, children, One Piece fans, everyone. Has anyone among you been tweeting about this? There are many One Piece fans in Ukraine enduring a real genocide. Do you understand how they feel watching a Russian actress in this role? We are simply asking to change the cast, and instead of empathy, you criticize us for being hurt and wish harm upon me? Are these the values you've taken for One Piece? Do you get the point? A Russian actress could use her voice to condemn the killings, did she? Or is she silent like most anti-war Russians playing the victim now and on screen? Ukraine has seen this before. First, anti-war Russian actors, often with Ukrainian passports, were pushed on us. Then tanks followed. For years, we were convinced that Russians were a part of our cultural space and brothers, spreading their narratives through films, music, and TV. Russophobia, self-defense, not xenophobia.
You went full retard, man. Never go full retard.
This right here is the ramblings of a radical. Because, first off, you can't label all Russians as evil. Yeah, you might have some people that do bad things, but if you were to look at every single person that was born in a certain area or the race and be like, oh, I saw one person do something bad, that must make them all bad. Well, that's a terrible line of thought. I mean, look, I understand that war is a terrible thing for both sides and anyone involved in war. Many innocent lives are lost, and there's a lot of terrible things that happen, no question. I mean, war sucks, and it only divides. It doesn't help bring people together. And many countries still have issues with others over history. But then when you've got delusional goblins that come in and just immediately think, they're from this country, so they're a terrible person. Oh, they support terrible things. It does not mean that. And you can't bundle all people like that together. Like, the people in power in Russia are the problem, but that doesn't mean that the Russian people support this. Doesn't mean they all do. You can't label them all as evil or as terrorist. There were even some sane people in the response to him stating, she literally moved to Germany as a child. She has nothing to do with the war. Your point means nothing. It's a role in a show. She is a model and actress, not a politician. She hardly has any social media posts in the last 20 years. You realize what you were saying, right? Just because the leader of Russia and his army are at war with Ukraine doesn't automatically make Russians terrorists. You must be so delusional to think so. In calling a Russian that has nothing to do with the war a terrorist is wrong. Oh, thank God for some actually sane people for a change. Nico Robin is literally a Russian. If you knew anything about One Piece, then you would know that. He would then respond with, I even know where it came from and how canonical it is, so I didn't even want to respond to such similar comments.
Gotcha, bitch!
A Russian has no right to play Nico Robin. That is immoral at its finest. Nico, having her home shelled, her relatives slaughtered, cannot be represented by a person whose government friends, relatives do the same to Ukrainian children. Shame on you.
Why? 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 Why?
Oh, God. The more I look at this, the more I see stupidity coming from all of these goblins. Like, why can't a Russian be able to play as Nico Robin? To say that they can't is terrible. That's awful. Anyone has a right to play as anything. Doesn't matter where you are from. You should never be saying that they don't have that right. That's stupid. One person responds saying, how do I say this? She hasn't been in Russia since 2005 and no longer has a Russian passport either. Have you read my tweet? Russians do not have a right to be promoted. She spoke nothing of what her government's doing. This woman and her grandkid were killed today in their own home. Ordinary people. Now tell me how a person from Russia, who condemn nothing, can be Robin. Oh my dear God. Another thing is, I don't care about her, and she could unalive in a trench for all I care. Wow, what a piece of shit. The beef we have is with Netflix, because why would you promote Russians? Like, isolate them, let them feel the responsibility for their people, and maybe they'll magically speak up. Another thing that bothers me is the sheer audacity all Westerners have. Like, do you think we are that out of our minds to blamelessly ask for her to be removed?
Of course!
Do you not think that we, literally, must be well versed in the Russians' topic because of what they do?
Do not be a retard.
Again, you can't literally put all these people in a basket together and be like, oh, they're all terrible because they're government. And look, Lera Abova herself, she, from what little bit of anything I could really find, I couldn't find anything on her Instagram about this. And it just seems like she stays away from politics and that kind of stuff. At least from what I could find. But, you know, when it comes down to it, you know, I'm glad for her role, glad that she was able to get this. She herself seems pretty excited to be Nico Robin, so, you know, that's a good thing. I mean, but at the end of the day, people create issues out of absolutely nothing. I mean, my God, like, look, war is bad. Nobody can argue that. I mean, it's terrible that innocent lives are being lost. Nobody's going to argue that either, you know, but at the same time, you can't blame innocent people for things that they have no involvement in. You can't look down on innocent people just because, oh, they were born from this place or whatever race they may be or whatever it is. You know, you can't look down on the innocent people because they're not the problem. You know, innocent people on both sides involving war, you know, they get dragged into this too. Doesn't mean that they like it, doesn't mean they support it. You can't pin it all on them. You know, there's no such thing as the perfect country either. You know, every country's committed crimes at least at some point in time, whether they want to admit to it or not. That's just the facts of life. And boy, can life be a tough one.